Hi, Dan from Gear Diary here, and today we're going to take a look at the next generation in mobile monitors. We looked at a mobile monitor from MMT that had DisplayLink technology built into it. We looked at that about a year ago, and that was a mobile display that you could plug into your computer without any additional software, and you would get a dual screen experience. Now the company's come out with their next generation version of the mobile monitor, and it's pretty amazing. It has a starting price of $299. That's for the regular screen, and it does not have a keyboard. There is a version with a high definition screen as well. Let me just read you a little bit about this, and then we're going to take a look at the actual device. Monitor2Go is the next generation mobile monitor for your iPad, laptop, and other portable devices. With your iPad 2 or iPad 3 or any HDMI tablet, you can share your screen on this 15.6-inch LED-backlit display. It's perfect for presentations and lots of other uses. This is actually it. So first off, it comes in this really nice carrying case that zippers. Also, there's a power cord for it. And to use the display, you actually pull it out of the storage compartment. And this is it. It's actually quite light. From this side, it actually looks almost like you're looking at a laptop, but it's thinner and it's a lot lighter except for one of the Ultrabooks or a Macbook Air. Let's just take a quick walk around. So this is the side it opens on, logo embossed here. On the bottom, you have this tray area here. We'll see what that's for in a second. You also have this built-in stand that pulls out and can allow the monitor to sit at a number of different angles. So it's built right in there, and it's pretty solid. It's not heavy duty, but it's pretty solid. You then have some controls over here and some ports over here. If we flip up the screen carefully, what you see is basically what looks like an almost laptop configuration. You've got the screen here, and where the keyboard would be, you've got this darker area here. That actually is specific for the iPad 2 and the iPad 3, and we're going to take a look at how that works in a second. Now the unit also comes with this HDMI to HDMI adapter. That is necessary, especially if you're using an iPad, but you're going to need to bring your own 30-pin to HDMI adapter with you. So that's something that is really ought to be included and bundled with the monitor, but it's not. So if you want to use this display with your iPad, you're going to need to actually make sure you have one of these. And if you notice, we're saying Generation 2 and Generation 3 iPad, not talking about the 4th generation iPad or the iPad mini. We'll get to that in a little bit. So how do you use this? First off, if you go to the bottom, there is a pull piece here. So if you pull it back, this tray actually comes right out. So now actually what you've got here is an opening. That opening is sized perfectly to fit your iPad. Take the iPad, let me make sure I'm putting it in the right direction. I am. Take the iPad, slice it or slot it in here. It'll actually fit in this lip. You can see the bodyguard skin on the back. Pull up on this connector and push it in, and now the iPad is locked into the monitor and it's not going anywhere. It's held by this lip that overhangs here a little bit and by this clip over here. So if you open up the Monitor2Go now, you see you've got the screen, and now where the keyboard would be, you have the iPad itself. To use the iPad, what you need to do is make the connection between the Monitor2Go and the iPad, and that happens with two pieces. First off, you take this adapter and you put it into the HDMI port, which is right here at an angle. Then you're going to take this, you're going to attach it to the iPad and the monitor, but you can't do it yet because if you turn on the iPad before and connect it before you turn on the monitor, it won't work. It won't work. So, plugging it in, I'm going to open it up, and now you see the screen and you see the keyboard of the iPad. And then let me go over here, and underneath I need to turn it on. And now it's on. Now that it's on, I'm going to take the adapter. I'm going to first plug it into, hard to get this on camera, but First I'm going to plug it into the HDMI port on the adapter, and then I'm going to take the adapter piece and I'm going to plug it into the 30-pin connector. And in short order, as you can see, the iPad now is on the larger screen. So it's mirrored. Now, where this becomes helpful is, first off, now I can type on the iPad and look at the screen as if I'm on a laptop. I don't have to be looking down when I'm typing. But the other way this is useful is that if I'm on the iPad, I can actually rotate this and it goes a full 180 degrees in either direction. So I can actually be on the iPad. Let me put this down. I can be on the iPad and I can bring up and when I bring something up on the iPad, I can then share it with people who are viewing it in front of me. People don't need to be hunched over the iPad in order to actually see what I want them to see on the iPad. So, dual benefit. Let me actually shift my position a little bit. Dual benefit. A, I can have it like this, and as if I'm on the iPad and want to write, but I can go like this. I can bring up the window, and I can type as if I'm typing on a laptop, but now I can look forward and I see it on the screen. Much more comfortable, much more usable, and actually something that I could see being very, very handy, for example, at CES when I don't want to carry a lot, but I don't necessarily want to just be limited to my iPad. This way I can have the full 15-inch experience on the screen, but I can type on the iPad, works beautifully. So it's good for your own individual use, and it's also good for sharing with other people as well. You can also connect that HDMI connector to any laptop and get a dual screen experience on a laptop. Really nice also if, for example, you have an 11-inch Macbook Air. I'll actually going to try that with Alana's MacBook Air in a minute. And it gives you 15 inches, 15.6 inches, plus whatever the laptop had. So here I have Alana's 11-inch MacBook Air. It's a great computer, but the screen is really tiny, as you know. So what we can actually do is take the MacBook Air and use it with this device as well. So what you need for that is an HDMI cable, you have to supply it yourself, and an adapter that will allow the MacBook Air to connect to the display. So, let me plug it in. Let me turn on Alana's laptop. And then you don't need the adapter to plug it in this time because the HDMI cord runs directly into the display. That without doing anything and without adding any software in this case, there's actually software that comes on a CD or a DVD that you can add to a laptop, but without doing anything, you can now see that the display link is extending Alana's screen, so when I slide it over, the window comes right over, and I've now got 11 inches and 15.6 inches, so I've got a really nice big display to work on. Really convenient in that regard, also really convenient if you want to show people something on the 11-inch MacBook Air, a little bit too small to share, you can actually show it on the display link. So the issue you run into with the new generation of iOS devices is that they're not currently supported in the same way. And the workaround for that is to actually connect an Apple TV to the display and then use mirroring to the Apple TV from the iPhone 5 or the iPad mini or the iPad Gen 4. So a little bit of a workaround, that's the issue that happens when technology is moving so quickly. But for my use, this is a great way that, here I've got the 15-inch goodness of a laptop now, but when I want my iPad, I can simply flip it over, disconnect it, pull this back, pull out my iPad, and I've got my iPad on the go. So this is the Monitor2Go, the next generation Monitor2Go. It has an MSRP starting at $299. This is Dan for Gear Diary. Thanks very much for watching.